another day out on the bike. I think that Parcel Motel thing is just brilliant. Just picked mine up from Parcel Motel there. Dead handy for Amazon UK, free UK deliveries. Get it delivered to Parcel Motel up in Northern Ireland, they bring it down. Free shipping costs me, I think it's $3.95 is what Parcel Motel charge. It's great. Saves me €7 or €8 or £7 or £8 that Amazon would charge. Dead handy. And with sterling the way it is at the moment, she'd be mad not to buy it. Oh, I do. I have to head out to Ashburn today. Pick up a few bits out there. Well, the weather in the last few days has certainly changed. I had to put on the extra layer in the RC adventure suit, so it's the water layer, because there was some very heavy rain last night and this morning, and the roads are still a bit wet and slick, so just need to be conscious of that. Take it a little bit handier than usual on the corners. JCB's holding up the whole road. That's a very nice car. Mustang 162. I've driven one in the States before, Mustang convertible, and there is certainly a nice engine in them. You can feel the power. Mind you, maybe it's just me, but I think American speed limits on their motorways is just seriously too slow. I even find compared to Irish speeds, the motorway speeds just feel a lot slower. And it's curious because America builds some absolutely brilliant muscle cars, like the Mustang. You watch all these TV shows with guys building cars and building this, that and the other, and well, you can't use it over there. They do have some nice roads and nice stretches of road, but you can't even let the car open up a little. But, you know, fun of driving in different parts of the world, to experience their way of driving. And as bad as, you know, you can contrast a few weeks ago when I was in France, where everyone sticks to the proper lane and pulls into the other lane only when overtaking, which is the proper way of doing it. And the Irish way is on a 3-lane road, everyone drives in the middle lane. For some strange reason, or they pulled into the outside lane because they say it's the fast lane and I'm going fast. Yeah, it's not a fast lane, it's an overtaking lane, you muppet. And then you've got a contrast in the US where people seem to just pick a lane and that's their lane, whether they're going slow, fast, overtaking, not overtaking. And it varies from state to state as well, what way they seem to drive. And in some places, you know, you see it on American TV shows where they're flying down the motorways and they're zipping across lanes and back across the lanes and undertaking, overtaking, anything to get by the car in front of them, and you have space to change lanes and change back and change over, and in many places it actually is like that. You can do it. It's not TV sensationalism for a change. It's the way they drive. So, I don't know. It's a funny old world. And you see videos of a place like China, where they seem to have absolutely no laws on how you drive on the road. You just drive on the road, wherever you want. So one photograph of a brand new 6-lane motorway, and there was somebody owned a house and they didn't want to sell their house, so the house is a little island in the middle of the motorway. So it'd be dead handy for deliveries, you know, someone just driving by and get a catch basket or something, throw it out the window. On the other side, very hard to cross the road if you wanted to go anywhere. Anyway, it's the fun of roads and driving. I've never been to China, so can't validate that at all. And of course, YouTube is great for seeing video clips of people driving, riding, different places. And you have to admire some guys and go on these massive treks across Europe, treks across Asia, treks across Africa on their bikes. They're nice enduro bikes. Oh, this bike would be certainly able to do it. No doubt about that. I can pack up my luggage, and hopefully next year or the year after I'll take a trip across around some of Europe, if not maybe just France, north of France, because normally it's absolutely beautiful for riding a bike, especially when the weather's good. So I've almost caught up on everybody's vlog that I follow and subscribe to. There's not that many, so if you have one and you want me to subscribe, say so. So I always like seeing how other people do things and how they are on the road. There was one the other day about Grumpy Bike Wizard, and I'm saying about the zen on the road and not needing to be grumpy when you're out on the bike. And it certainly pays to be a lot more relaxed. I find I'm a lot more relaxed when I'm out on the bike. I'm not nearly as grumpy or road ragey that I would be when in the car. Possibly because you feel a little more delicate on the bike. More can go wrong. If a car hits you, you're likely to have more damage than car hitting car. But at the same time, on the bike you have to drive as if everyone's out to kill you, because more often than not it seems like they are. I haven't had too many close calls. I think my worst close call was the day of my bike test, believe it or not. Coming up to the airport, Dublin Airport roundabout, I could see that the lights coming out of the airport, or the lights around that roundabout, were out of action. And there was a bus in the outermost lane. There's 3 lanes there. Bus in the outermost lane, and a taxi coming up on the inside of the bus. Now, he had no way at all to see around the bus, and yet he kept coming. Obviously, me being on the roundabout first, I have the right of way. I saw him as he pulled around the front of the bus. I swerved to avoid him. Thankfully there was nothing much on my outside, so I had a bit of room to go around. But I'd say he missed the back of this bike by about an inch. And then he starts shouting at me. So like, you absolute muppet. It's a roundabout. I have the right of way no matter what. So that was the closest I've been to being taken out of it. And I hope that's the closest I get ever. Can't see that happening, but as long as you keep your wits about you, more often than not you can anticipate a lot of the stupid stuff that goes on. And when you can't anticipate it, thankfully more often than not the bike is a little bit more manoeuvrable and you can just move out of the way. Haven't had to jam on the brakes now in a good while. I've had to slow down a bit, but between engine braking and actual brakes, this bike is quite good at slowing down. So the sun is shining at the moment. It was horrible rain earlier, and it's supposed to be an absolutely nasty weekend. Tomorrow now and photograph some rugby. It's Leinster and Cast. I'll have to photograph that tomorrow. I expect it to be a little bit wet, so tonight I have to charge up all my camera gear, get out all my rain gear and get everything prepped for the match. Also, I'm getting a lot more used to bringing the bike to these events and packing and unpacking. It's a little bit more cumbersome on the bike because putting on the bike gear, taking off the bike gear. And for some events I actually leave all my bike gear on me, just taking the helmet and gloves off. So I'd keep the jacket and trousers on, and it's not uncomfortable. But there are times when you really do want to have that extra little bit of comfort. So you take off the bike gear and trousers, sweatshirt, jacket. So there we are, Gardai. There must be a checkpoint. I don't know what they're checking for today. Too bad, I don't mind. So let's slow down. And the checkpoint as well. Getting more of these around the place. Once you have everything in order, there's no bother. Thanks. See? No bother. Checking tax and insurance and everything else, I'm sure. With the guards doing that kind of stuff. It's kind of good for us all, especially when they're catching people with tax, no insurance and stuff. I'd say I'd actually catch a few on this road because people use this road to avoid the M2 and stuff like that. If there was another biker coming along, I'd the old tap on the helmet to warn him that there's guards ahead. I had that once where a biker gave me the old tap on the head to warn that there's guards around, and I slowed down to just under the speed limit. And the next minute in the side of the road was a Garda car parked up. Give them a bit of space. very wide, even for a learner. But we were all there once. Championship or ploughing festival or something, because there's a good bit of ploughing going on in there. People showing off the latest tractors. So I have a few little bits and pieces to do today, and it's just more pleasant to get out and do it on the bike, especially when the weather is decent. So I started my job search yesterday. I applied for 2 jobs. There's 1 or 2 companies I'd be quite interested in working for if the right position was there and the right circumstances. I applied to one of them yesterday to dip my nose in the water. It's hard to find a role the same as what I was doing. I find a lot of them are bits of this, bits of that. Well, I suppose the roles that are out there are more specific than the role I was doing. The role I was doing was very general support. I was working on a lot of different systems, different technologies, working with multi-vendors, stuff like that, whereas a lot of these places want specifics. They want you to be CCNA certified, full Cisco experienced, or they want you to be a full database analyst or a full web support specialist or along those lines, which I don't fully have. I have bits of all of those, but maybe not enough. At the same time, I learn fast, and I love stuff like that challenges me and gives me the scope to learn and develop. I've done the Cisco stuff. I've done extreme switching as well. I had my ENS certificate, so that's Extreme Network Support Specialist. And CCNA is only good for 2 years, so you have to keep refreshing and redoing, or do an extra course and an extra module and keep going up, which is great for them. But if you're not using it day in, day out, it's quite hard to keep up on that competence level. And it's not stuff I was using day in, day out. It's stuff I'd use once every so often to get something back up and running and get things working again. And then I'd be back to working on databases, or I'd be working on, DNS or servers and stuff like that, and application support, Unix support. So stuff like that I can do fairly easily and comfortably. I don't mind dealing with multi-vendors, so I'm used to that, whether they're hardware, operating system, software, application layer, database layer, all that stuff. I can do that. I can work with other companies. So it's a matter of finding that right position to fit. And I'm certainly gone past the days of working 60, 70 hours a week, putting in silly hours. I'm not interested in that anymore. I would prefer a nice, regular 9 to 5. So the man says, I'm not looking for much. I want 9 to 5. Well, 9 to 5 flexible hours. So a regular day worked flexi hours. North side of Dublin, so anywhere from Blanchardstown, Ballycoolan, all the way across to Swords, even out to Clonshock. I prefer to stay away from the city centre if possible, and I certainly don't want Southside Dublin, so it's just a nightmare for travel. Over and back on the M50 every day would just kill me. It would drain me to death, and I don't need that hassle at this stage in life. So I got a nice payout from Ericsson, so I'm in no major rush. I can take my time and find something that suits me. I've no problem taking a pay cut to find the job that suits me. And that's not a problem. Obviously I'd like good money, good package, but you know, it's not the end of the world if I don't. I get nice, easy, regular hours. It's happy days. I also believe Ericsson shares took a massive dive yesterday. 16%. That wiped a good bit off their value. And that led to an announcement of further job cuts, especially in Sweden and in the US, where they have very large operating bases at the moment, which is never good to see. But I was only at the bottom of the ladder, and at times, even when you're sitting at the bottom, you can see a bigger picture than the guys sitting at the top can see, and you can feel what the customer feels. And you know that it's with many of these companies now, it's a race for profits. It's a race to the bottom. So you're chopping everything, you're chopping your quality, you're shipping everything out to lowest cost centres possible. So more jobs are going to places like China, India, Mexico. And while there are some definitely great engineers in places like that, there's also some not great engineers. And you find with some cultures they just don't want to take responsibility for stuff. They don't want to take personal responsibility. They don't want to commit to anything. They don't want to say, yep, that's my problem, I'm going to deal with that, or I'm going to fix that. And then when something goes wrong, they don't want to put their hand up and go, yep, made a mistake, sorry about that. I think that's terrible, but I know for us, we went through that, and a senior manager came in and decided, right, there's always someone to blame. It's kind of like, that's just the wrong culture to have. We make mistakes, everyone makes mistakes. Computers don't always do what we need them to do or want them to do. And when we make mistakes, you live and you learn and you decide, okay, I made a mistake there, something didn't do what I expected it to do, sorry about that, won't happen again, now let's move on. But no, it's this, you made a mistake, you're to blame, the customer had an outage because you made a mistake. And it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I made a mistake, but if you're going to blame me for stuff, then I'm not going to take responsibility for stuff. And then I'm not going to go out of my way to attempt to fix things when I don't know if what I'm doing is going to make it worse or not, and if it's worse, then I'm in trouble. It's wrong, Ted, wrong. Anyway, I'm out in Ashburn to do what I came out to do, so I will sign off for a while once I find a parking space and do my bits and be back later. Should we go for the corner? Go for the corner, Ted. Do I go left? Do I go right? Still a nice day out. Alright, we go for a ride again in a few minutes. There's the next thing now. Do you leave your bike in gear when you park it? Me, I tend to do it from time to time. So I'll leave the bike in gear, which means it doesn't roll or move. And I know a lot of people don't, and it was a personal taste. Anyway, bike in gear, steering lock on, they're the two easiest things to resolve if someone wants to steal the bike, but, you know, it's all about one extra little thing to make it a little more complicated for them.